Hey guys, welcome to another video. In this video, we'll be solving a program that prompts the user to enter two numbers and will display its answers by mathematical functions such as adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing, and taking remainder of the entered values. Okay, so let's start. So we have the third line, we have the import java.util.scanner. So in order to import this scanner class, which enables the user to enter a value in the compiler, we have the scanner package, which is the part of the util sub package and is the part of the Java main package. Now, in order to enable this whole package, you need to enter the important keyword in important packages, which is import. Now, moving on to the fourth line, sorry, class calc. Now, this is the class initialization, and the first letter of the first word is capital. This is a naming convention. You have to keep this in mind. Then we have the brackets, which starts a new block of code. Int num1 comma, and we have the semicolon over here. At the end of every statement in Java, you have to enter a semicolon. We have the variable initialization over here. In line 8, we have scanner input. We have the input variable on the scanner class, and we have the keyword new. So new basically creates a new object in the memory of the computer. So this is the total memory of the computer. A small space in this memory is allocated to the object scanner, and the reference address, the location or the reference location, is stored inside the variable input. So basically, you can identify this memory to be a box, in which values are stored. Now, what values in the terminal window? Say, for example, we take enter the first number. So enter the first number, and I enter, say, for example, 20. So this 20 will be stored inside over here in this box, and this box is represented by input variable. Okay, this was a brief explanation of line 8. Now let's move on to the various method initializations over here. Void except. Now void basically means that the method does not return any value. If you want the method to return a value, then you need to use the data type of the return value. So if I return, say for example, according to a calculation, say for example, L into B in the sense length into breadth, and there is a number, say for example, 10 into 20. L into B represent 10 into 20, which is 200. So return 200. 200 is an int data type. 200 is an int data type. So therefore, the except method, if you want to return a value, would be int except and round brackets. But in this case, we are not returning a value, so void would be the correct keyword to use. System.out.println or the SOP package, and inside the arguments we have double asterisk, and inside the double asterisk we have enter the first number. So whatever is inside the double asterisk will be directly printed in the terminal window. Then we have the variable number 1, which is of int data type, is equal to input.nextInt. Now, as I said, input represents the small box, which I explained before, in which values are stored. .nextInt. .nextInt, it is the string method that reads the input by the user as an integer data type. So in the terminal window, if say for example, they've asked us to enter the first number and we enter 20. So the next int string method will read this as an integer. But say for example, I enter Bob. Bob is a string. So if I have written string method over here, which is nextInt, it will read this as an integer, which it is not. It is not an integer, it is a string. So therefore, the compiler will throw an error. So you have to write a int data type. If you are enabling the user to enter a string, you have to write, instead of nextInt, you have to write next line, which is a string method which accepts strings input from the user. Then in the 14th line, we have another SOP package, enter the second number inside double asterisk. So this will be printed in the terminal window. And then in the 15th line, we have the num2, or its data type is int, is equal to input. Again, input represents the box in which the user's input will be stored. .nextInt. NextInt represents the data type reading of the value inside the box, which will be integer as the data type suggests. Now let's move on to the second method. Second method is also void. X is equal to num1 plus num2. Now add basically represents the method in which addition calculation will happen. Num1 plus num2, SOP, adding num1 and num2, we get X. So this is inside 1, 2, 3. So 3 components are inside double asterisk, so they will be printed on the terminal window as it is. Now we have 1 and 2 components. We have two components which are not stored inside double asterisk. Now this means that the value that is stored inside these variables will be printed on the terminal window. So say for example, num1 is 20 and num2 is 10. So num1 on the terminal window, it will be adding 20 and 10. It won't be adding num1 and num2. Now let's move on to the third method, which is the subtract method. X is equal to num1 minus num2. And as I said before, we have the SOP package. Subtracting the value stored inside num1 and num2, we get X. Now, whatever is X will be printed on the terminal window. Now let's scroll down a bit. So the rest of the methods are also exactly the same. In the mult, we have num1 into num2. You are multiplying num1 and num2. In division, we have dividing num1 and num2. And in remainder, we are taking the remainder of num1 and num2. And respectively, in each method, multiplying num1, the value stored inside num1 and num2, num1 and num2, num1 and num2 will be X. The answer to X will be different in both cases, in 3 of these cases, and the rest of the cases. Now let's move on to the main method, public static void main. Now please note a note to the user that you cannot make methods inside of each method. So say for example, if I declare a void except method and I start a new block of code, I cannot declare another method inside this. The compiler will throw an error. This is not allowed. You have to declare a method separately. So we have the main method over here, the initialization of the main method, public static void main. The compiler will start compiling the program from this point forth. The compiler won't start it from above. The compiler will start it from below, and then it will keep on going above. So we have declared a class object over here, calci, with the exact name as the class is. We have the variable calci, and note over here that we haven't added the system.in package, as we do not need to prompt the user to enter a value in this case. And then we have the variable calci.accept. We are activating each of the methods that are listed above so that the various calculations can be activated and the necessary output can be printed upon the compiler. Now let's see the actual functioning of the program. Java-C calci.java, and let's enter the next line. Java, there are no errors till now, so that's okay. Java calci, but without the .java extension. Let's press enter. Enter the first number 20, enter the second number 10, and you have the various mathematical functions listed in front of your screen. Adding 20 and 10, we get 30. Subtracting 20 and 10, we get 10. Multiplying 20 and 10, we get 200. Dividing 20 and 10, we get 2. Taking remainder of 20 and 10, we get 0. That brings us to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. This video will be uploaded on IsEqualTo Klasses Shivang, so be sure to check this out. There are other videos also covering various programs in computer, and yet there are other programs covering various subjects such as maths, history, geography, so you could check them out too. Thanks for your time. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.